Hi everyone, here's another tool to add to your inventory. My name is Akshata and I am a 4th year international med student studying at UNSW Medicine and Health. Med school, like any other degree, will come with its stressful situations that not only involve academics but also different parts of your life that seem to throw snowballs at you at the exact same time. Today I'm going to break down the strongest, most powerful strategy I have developed as a coping mechanism to any stressful situation I have faced in med school so far. Let's get into it. Before we get into the mechanisms to cope with stress, let's all make sure we're on the same page when it comes to defining what stress is and what it manifests as. So stress is defined as the emotional or behavioral response to a particular uncomfortable event, task, or situation or phase in your life. When we use the word stress, we are often referring to work deadlines or career-related stressors. But the word stress can actually encompass any other emotional type of uncomfortable feeling, like the nervousness and the fright before going on stage, or the despair that you feel when you don't get your job offer that you were working so hard for, the anger that you feel when you're in an argument or a chronic argument with somebody, or the sadness and pain that you feel when you lose friendships or relationships. Those are all forms of stress. So is all stress bad? Not really. So the Yerkes-Dodson law states that stress and performance are actually related, in that a little bit of stress can actually make you a better version of yourself. So that nervousness, a little bit of it is needed so that you hyper-focus and are able to remember everything on stage. A little bit of competitiveness and discomfort is needed for you to focus and push yourself and keep applying for jobs and not give up. A little bit of those sadness is needed for you to actually actively find the things that make you happy and learn enough about yourself to understand what you love and you enjoy. There are several other factors that can come and complicate this graph, but the general conclusion stands true. But the scales can tip very easily, and that's how I have been feeling for the last 4 weeks. While stress management strategies are good to perform on an everyday basis so you don't feel that stressed either way, it is particularly helpful when you are in a stressed out zone and you need to move out of it into a healthier, happier place. It doesn't happen overnight, but you can learn to calibrate yourself. Let's look at one of the oldest strategies in the books. Journaling. Evidently, I have a lot of experience in this one. Journaling, or the act of writing your thoughts and emotions on paper, began as a therapeutic strategy in the 1960s. There is actual published research that targeted med students and physicians on how journaling helps them cope with their stressors in their lives, and it concluded that when you write your thoughts and emotions on paper, 1, it expands your understanding of the situation. 2, it gives you clarity of communication because you're forced to put your thoughts into clear words and sentences on paper. And 3, it gives you enough brain space to analyze the situation and actually realize what happened, how did you contribute to it, what needs to be done next. Now here's the part you probably had no idea about. Journaling has several different defined forms, but researchers found that 5 main ones are helpful, and we are going to go through all of them today. Morning pages is your typical traditional diary writing style where you pick up your book at the same time each day and choose about 3 pages and just let your thoughts flow. Gratitude journaling is writing down in a short form what you love about yourself, what you love about your life, and what you are thankful for. Reflective writing is more episodic in nature where you describe a situation that bothered you and the feelings that arose during that time and your response to the whole thing. Bullet journaling brings a more practical side to this whole practice, where it is all about your goals, long-term and short-term, your dreams, what you want to achieve maybe in the next day, week, month, or year. And it's got a lot to do with practical to-do lists, practical tasks to help you push forward despite the discomfort you are feeling in that particular moment. Compassionate journaling, the last and most interesting of all, is very much like reflective writing. But once you are done explaining the situation, your response to it, and your emotions to it, you then verbalize being kind to yourself, empathize with yourself for the parts that were difficult to go through, and then gently provide yourself constructive thoughts and tasks to move on from that situation. And I'll explain why this is so important. Since this inventory focuses on making sure to give you information that's both evidence-based and got a tinge of personal experience, I'm going to expand on the ones that I use with real-life examples from that huge mound of journals you saw a minute ago. Bullet journaling for me has always been something that helps cope with stress that comes from med school and work and task-related activities. I do bullet journaling for most of my daily, weekly, and monthly tasks, much like how Ryder Carroll describes the original technique in his book, The Bullet Journal Method. If you don't have the time to read the entire book, he does have a summary video on his YouTube channel that explains the entire method, which I have linked in the description for you guys to check out. When I just felt like crying and sitting and moaning and not doing any work for the last 4 weeks, I was very aware that I was pushing all my deadlines to the last minute and piling them up. That was creating this huge monster, and the stress was just amplifying as each day went by. So the bullet journaling method really brought my practical mind to the forefront, where I forced myself to just focus on the tasks in that short-term list. It highlighted the parts of my stress that are under my control so I could get to working on them quickly and dissipate the stress before it builds up more. The more stressed I am, the more detailed I would make these lists. So I would put something like drink lemon honey, eat breakfast, write your to-do list, finish the transcript for the new video, finish recording the old video, blah, 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 blah. And then I would have certain spaces to tick them off as I went along. Gratitude journaling has helped me more in times of emotional stress when things didn't go the way I would want them to, in terms of a friendship, a relationship, a job. In 2017, a meta-analysis combined the results from 38 different studies that were looking at the effects of practicing gratitude. And what they found was that the people who practice gratitude have a better status of well-being, happiness, and just satisfaction from life. But interestingly, they also found that gratitude journaling was only beneficial when they compared people who were practicing gratitude to people who were in a particularly negative situation in their lives. The benefit was not as obvious when they compared people practicing gratitude to people who were just neutral or generally happy with their lives. And that's kind of reflected in me because the only times I've actually practiced gratitude journaling seriously is when I am going through a particularly difficult time. I don't find much use of it when I'm generally hustling and being my best. Let's take a look at an example. This is from 28th of March 2022. So this is about 2 to 3 weeks ago. It says here, what am I grateful for today? I've said here, I have the kind of research project that allows me to relax at home every day and have a morning routine. I have a beautiful planner. I have an amazingly warm outfit for sitting at home. I have a beautiful house with a beautiful view. And I have beautiful hair that frames my face. So in short, when I feel like I haven't gotten something or I've lost something that I really valued, then looking at the things I already have and am privileged to have shows me the positives of my situation and prevents me from dwelling on these negative feelings for too long. Reflective writing is my favorite method of journaling. I have been doing it for years and it is the go-to method for me, be it professional life stresses or personal life stresses. A research study focused on healthcare workers got them to use reflective writing as their main coping mechanism to deal with any emotional situation that they face at work. And what they found was that the one quality that becomes really strong in these group of people is resilience. The ability to get back up when you have gone down to rock bottom. Rock bottom, does that ring a bell? If you are a continued viewer of the inventory, you probably know what I'm talking about. But if not, that's okay. Welcome to the crowd. The link will probably be up here. You can go and watch the vlog where I say I hit rock bottom. Oh, okay. I must have been really troubled if I forgot to put the date on the beginning of this entry. reflective writing is episodic. It's about a particular situation. And you can see that here. I started off with the entry by, I'm having a very horrible feeling, some sort of anxiousness, and I'm not able to shake it off. I need to face it. So I went for a haircut today. I decided, blah, 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 and I have explained a scenario right here. Throughout this entry of 3 pages or so, there are several examples of how I have put words to my feelings and labeled them and hence found clarity in them. So for example, and she said something that really made me angry for a split second before leading into this deep, deep fear in me. She said, set your priorities right. But it kind of gave me a slap in the face, wake up moment. And then towards the end of this entry, the last paragraph I have written, it's going to hurt my channel's progress for sure, but my med coursework always comes first. It feels like the right decision. Oof, as I wrote that, I am feeling better. I think now I can clearly see that the remaining stress is coming from the tension of the incomplete assignment. So what started off as a horrible feeling today has now come down to clearly seeing that there has been a decision made. I can tell where the stresses are coming from and what I'm going to do about it, and I'm clearly feeling better at the end of this entry. Now, let's get a little bit serious here for a minute. When I was going through all my journals to find examples that would work well for this video, I noticed a really unsettling pattern. The words that I use to talk to myself in these situations is unacceptable. Let me read out to you some examples of what I mean from all the journals I have had throughout the years. What? Am I sad? Am I fat? Am I ugly? What is wrong with me? I expect too much from too little hard work. I always think about what everybody else wants and I show off so much. This one's really bad. That's what I must look like right now. A sad, fat loner who got rejected for a hangout. Thankfully, the last entry I read was from 2018, so that was from a while ago. But as of 2018, I didn't think too great of myself, and I was definitely not in the best mindset when it comes to self-respect and self-confidence. The point though is that when I write these things down, it probably might reinforce those words in my head if I put them down on paper, which is clearly not helpful and might even counteract all the benefits of reflective writing. And this is where compassionate journaling comes in. When you are practicing compassionate journaling, you remove the blame game out of the situation. So you narrate the situation, you narrate your response to it, you acknowledge where you were being human, you acknowledge the parts that could have been handled better, but you do it with respect and compassion towards yourself as a human being that's just looking to improve, and stop doing unintended damage to your self-esteem. And that's what I plan to do from now on. From now on, I'm going to include that extra sector of compassion in my reflective writing to make it compassionate journaling and see what kind of difference it makes. What kind of difference will it make? Well, you'll probably just have to watch and find out. So make sure to subscribe right now. So, the next time you are in a stressful situation or are just not feeling great, maybe give journaling a try. I hope that the very real examples that I've picked out from my personal diaries over the years has given you a little bit of an understanding on how these work, how they affect you, and what you could be doing better. When you do try them out, and if they do work for you, let me know in the comments or message me on Instagram, which should be at akshatasingh_ti. But until then, if you like this video, make sure to share it around to anybody who might find it useful. But until next Friday,